Good evening. You're flying with Pod Squadron podcast. All wings report in. This is Andy, Pod Job, standing by.
This is Tracy, Pod Tracer, standing by.
This is Lexi, Pogme, standing by.
All ships to attack formation. Mission objectives to talk about Star Wars and movies, streaming, animation, books, themed experiences, and your art and inspiration from the galaxy far, far away. Tonight's tonight's flight plan includes a little bit of Star Wars news. We're going to talk a little bit about the teasers for Andor because that is coming up very soon. Also, we are rounding out to Skeleton Crew EP06. That'll be fun as we're catching up on that. And for all of you out there, all comm channels are open. Follow us on Blue Sky, Facebook, Instagram. Find us on Twitch and YouTube. Like and subscribe and hit the bell icon so you know when we have new content. But first, I'll be your squad leader for today. I am Andy Lowe, aka the Chinese Pirate, director, storyteller, puppeteer, performer, and fight choreographer. On my wing is Tracy.
Hi, I'm Tracy, also known as Hot Nerd Girl, and I have chickens and I have eggs, and they're worth $1 million, willing to trade for a car or a vacation or a house or whatever you're willing to trade me for them.
And on my other wing is Lexi.
Hey guys, I'm Lexi. I sling bears as my fellow queers on the weekend, and I have a theater background, and I love designing cosplays I can't afford to make in my spare time.
And of course, we're just
slinging beers with my fellow queers. That's perfect.
and rhymes too.
Chicken scoop.
It just kind of rolled off the tongue.
And of course, just one squad in this fleet. We're part of the Geekish Network. That's right here on YouTube. And you can find us on Facebook and other places. As foils to attack position, we are going in. Okay, so have you guys seen the special look for Andor Season 2?
I saw the trailers, but I didn't get to see the special look.
It's basically an expanded trailer. So there's a little bit more footage. You get a little bit of interviews from the cast and crew.
Like blurbs.
First impressions.
Oh, this looks so good. Looks so good. And it looks like it's going to be very timely for those who are in any way aware of anything politically that is going on. It will speak to you, I feel like. And I'm very excited for it.
I mean, some of the stuff, some of the footage is, I don't know, it's a little chilling because, we've been going through and like learning a lot of the Star Wars lore leading up to the rebellion on this show, and so like there are some of those shots where I just keep going, oh my god, are they going to show the Gorman massacre? Are they going to show the Tiananmen Square of the Star Wars universe?
Yeah,
like, oh my god.
Mm-hmm.
That brutal. So. Yeah. Also, Genevieve O'Reilly is quickly rising on my crush list. She is just she has so much presence.
I don't even play for that team, and I would say same.
Yeah. I mean, I do, and I'm just hard to agree. Yeah.
Yeah, you get a little moment of her, looks like dancing at probably her daughter's wedding.
Like arranged wedding.
Oh, her trad wife daughter.
Yeah.
Oh.
Also a couple of shots of probably K2SO, right? I mean, we can presume that he's going to be in this.
Ooh, that cape. That was a great cape.
Wait, whose cape? Which cape?
Oh, I'm watching on what Rodney's showing, and I think
right.
it was Genevieve. It's a little far away from me, and I'm old, and my eyesight's not as good as it used to be. But it was like black dress, black cape with white lining, and she was just like, it was very badass.
I mean, that there is the tradition of Star Wars of bad guys in white and good guys in black, or vice versa.
Yeah.
And the symbolic stuff with that. Also, okay, I'm probably wrong, but there's a couple shots there that look a lot like Lothal. It's probably not Lothal, but they have big wide open plains with a lot of wheat looking stuff and container ships.
Lothal. You heard it.
It would be interesting, right? Because I mean, again, the Gorman massacre is a callback to Rebels. We know that in theory, they are out there. Ezra's out there broadcasting on his pirate radio. I kind of wonder if they'll tie any of that in.
Connect the Andor and Ahsoka worlds.
Well, Andor and Rebels, right? I mean, because that's the thing. The episode where Mon Mothma makes her statement to announce to declare the Rebel Alliance is her being skirted away by the Ghost crew, in her daring escape. But we also, we don't really know who delivers Mon Mothma to the Ghost crew, right? That could be Andor.
That could be.
This is really like, is this where it's going to connect to Rogue One? Like at the end of this season, is it going to connect to Rogue One?
So what I remember reading was that their original pitch for the show was 5 seasons to represent 5 years leading up to the Battle of Yavin. And then they did the first season and they're like, oh my God, this is going to be too much work. We can't do this. So then they were like, all right, we did the first year in season 1, and then we'll do year 2, 3, and 4, or rather 2, 3, 4, and 5, leading up to Rogue One, in various episode arcs. So in theory, it's 12 episodes, 3 episodes per year, leading up to Rogue One.
So is this it then for Andor? Is season 2 and it's done?
That's
Wow.
From what I've heard from Diego Luna and Tony Gilroy, but I believe it was Diego Luna said it in one interview where the end of season 2 of Andor puts you right at the beginning of Rogue One.
Yeah.
So are we going to see
so he
Felicity?
I don't know, but basically he's saying it's almost right the next scene is his introduction in Rogue One.
Go get this girl out of this prison cover.
So but remember in Rogue One, and it's been a while since I've watched it, but I remember the first scene, he did some sort of betrayal.
Yeah, he kills the guy. His informant,
right?
He just shoots him in cold blood to protect the source.
Yeah, so there's that. So that's where I understood it to be, is that season 2 ends right at the beginning of Rogue One.
Oh, I hope we see Felicity. That'd be rad. Cameo.
I mean,
Yeah.
in theory, she still has a contract commitment that they either have to pay out or use her again, right? Because they did contract her for multiple appearances.
Even though they knew she was gonna die.
I mean, I think they didn't quite know if she was gonna die until they finished the final edit. But I think they contracted them all for.
That's pretty smart.
Yeah.
It's very savvy.
That's why they make big bucks.
Yeah. Wait, am I right that what's her name? Kathy?
Kathleen O'Hara?
No. The one who's in charge of some stuff at Disney.
Kathy Kennedy,
Kennedy. Was she retiring? Is she leaving?
I think that was a rumor again.
Oh, good. Because I feel like she's a very steadying force with a capital F in the company. Kathleen Kennedy.
That said, she's had a pretty good tenure now. I mean, she's been at the wheel for a pretty long time for, a studio like this.
Her detractors conveniently forget about all the feathers in her cap that they love,
Yeah.
She's produced plots that the people who hated her usually love as well, and
she's kind of the Kevin Feige of the Star Wars.
Right? With and of course a bit more divisive to this fan base, but whatever.
She's a woman. Just saying, do.
Yeah. still, right, one of the lead executive producers of the entire Indiana Jones series. I mean, she has quite a career and legacy. So props.
Yeah, she's a badass.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see here. Anything else we want to talk about the Andor as it's coming up? Any like wish lists or not predictions? Let's say wish lists, things you're looking forward or hoping to see.
I feel like this is a Lexi question.
We're all going to see more of. I mean,
Besides,
see, I want to see how he carries Nemec's manifesto forward.
yeah,
Because it was like bequeathed unto him, and obviously changed him. I want to find out how Luthen got that Kyber.
oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, I really want to find that out, and why he said specifically that it means more to him than it would to anybody, where he's like, look, I know it's valuable, but it means more to me than like the monetary value. So please take care of it and don't use it unless you really have to.
Yeah, those little loose threads that they left that kind of hinted that perhaps he might have had some kind of Jedi past, that he's disconnected himself from the Force maybe or something. Yeah, that could be interesting. I'm also, so one of my things that I'm looking forward to and also like dreading is whatever their resolution for the story arc of B2 Emo.
Oh,
Because we don't see B2 Emo again, but I love him.
He's not in great shape as a droid.
He's not in great shape. Yeah. I mean, and of course, there are those theories that, like, okay, did B2 Emo's, like, chip get inserted into K2SO, and that's the origin story of K2SO. I could see that. That would be funny, but
I want to see Andy Serkis come back because we don't know what happened to him.
Yeah.
And I would not be opposed to seeing Diego Luna's bare bum.
yeah.
We even get him we did get him shirtless. How could I forget?
Do you?
I want to see his sister. What happened? Is there like, are they going to be reunited? Is she going to play into the overall story or just his arc?
So you remember my prediction, right, Rodney?
That like somehow they get connected and he has to betray her, or
I'm still feeling. I still think I got a pretty good theory that his sister is Deidre Miro.
Oh, that's right. You did have that theory, yes.
Because they kind of seem to imply that she might be like adopted daughter of the security supervisor, and the blonde. You can see her roots, and she's living up to her imperial upbringing.
That's true. You're right.
But that would be a really interesting thing to end it with, once he finds his sister and then he has to kill her. And that's the guilt that he's carrying with him as he goes into Rogue One, right?
I think you could see that working.
That would be some altered carbon shit right there.
Right?
But I do think that she's going to show up, and I want to see her show up because it's too big of a plot point to like not resolve.
Sister, yeah. That's it. Is the what's his name? The weakling dude. What's his name? The security guy who.
Oh yeah, the guy who he really with his mom.
The incel.
Cyril with his dad's cereal.
Bill Karn. That's right.
Yeah.
Is he in the trailer?
Yeah, he's there.
Yeah.
Okay.
He looks up at the sky at one point. Yeah.
He's there.
Is he with Deidre Miro, or is he just?
Doesn't show them like explicitly together,
Right.
but I think in the trailer, the one that they dropped today or yesterday, there's some shots of them together. I have to look at it again, but
I mean, I did notice that.
I don't think it didn't imply that they were together.
Right.
There is one particular shot. There is one particular shot of her that it's like having people really speculate and getting their hopes up, I think. But
it is also interesting to see her in a black uniform versus her white security uniform, right? Like, what's that about?
maybe she starts becoming, I always felt like that was like they're in the field.
Yeah.
Like they wear the blah, they're in the field, right? So
Versus white is scientific command.
yeah.
Yeah.
Or
Also, there's a quick shot of Bix too, right? Did I see that correctly?
I don't remember.
Well, I thought there was a quick shot with Bix and Cassian together.
yes.
It's a very quick shot, possibly intimate, but I don't know, or it could just be consoling.
She's in the
Like-
special look, so she's definitely in it.
No, it was very intimate. They were like doing this whole like playing each other's hands, and
Oh.
yeah, it was definitely a very intimate thing.
I mean, I still would. I mean, whether it's like an intimate, like, or a a shipping or not. I mean, I hope they address like what are the consequences of her torture from Deirdre. Remember, that was the whole listening to the, or not Deirdre. She had to listen to the screaming sounds of whatever alien species that was like giving her psychosomatic damage or whatever like that.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to rewatch season 1 before watching season 2 after having this conversation.
I haven't got to those episodes yet, but I am doing a rewatch with my friend. Right.
Well, and I think we'll talk about that here too. Once we finish with Skeleton Crew, right before we start on Andor season 2. Yeah, we'll do a little revisit of season 1, recap for ourselves, and kind of rediscuss of where that left off. I'm actually looking forward.
Maybe in a live stream.
Maybe, perhaps. You never know. But great. Good stuff. Let's move on into Skeleton Crew episode 6. This is the episode titled Zero Friends Again, which when I first heard the title, I was like, that's kind of a lame title. And then when you hear it in context of why the title is Zero Friends Again, it was heartbreaking. And I was like, oh, all right. So this finds the kids after their daring escape of Wim actually pushing the button and it being the right thing to do for a change. And
Sending him down the poop chute.
down the poop chute, down the One-Eyed Willie slide, as it were.
Poop chute and the One-Eyed Willie slide. Sounds
way more graphic than I was expecting that to be.
All right.
I'm here for it. You know I am.
The pirate One-Eyed Willie.
That doesn't make it better, Andy. No, that doesn't make it better.
Right. Okay. So Jod coming out of the sewers, coming face to face with Brutus and Pocket, the return of Pocket.
Oh my god, the sewers, Pocket. This keeps going.
Okay, you guys go.
It's what they were doing.
They knew.
I said I have the dirtiest. I'm pretty sure I have some kind of neurodivergent thing where everything is dirty in my mind. So,
I'm not usually in polite enough company to hold that back, and sometimes when we're recording, like some of the stuff that I did most often was family entertainment, so sometimes I still censor a little bit when I really don't need to, and so glad that I have you as a shining example, Tracy. It's your relief. It's
say as my poor mother. She's put up with this since I was 5 years old.
Oh gosh.
It's your heart.
So are we. Allies. The kids have no allies. They're stranded. About.
That's right. This is a children's show. I keep forgetting it's a children's show. Anyways, go ahead. Keep talking about Pocket.
Yeah, they just say fuck them kids. So like
Right.
actively said "fuck them kids," which I also did.
Hey, you have a trash panda, and this episode has trash crabs.
Right? Yeah. So the trash crabs, which like I don't know if you guys saw the making of, they did really cool models for the trash crabs. Well,
And also, it's the return of Phil Tippett. Phil Tippett, who goes back to the very first Star Wars film, did all of the stop motion animation effects for everything in pretty much all of Hollywood until Jurassic Park, and also, ended up being instrumental in just kind of inventing the movement, which became the first animations of those dinosaurs too.
Yeah. Oh, seriously. So I don't know. I love the detail they put into it. I think they were talking about how they tried to do some of the details that match stuff in the original trilogy, like scraps from different properties within the franchise, so that it was like the scrap of 1,000 worlds,
Yeah.
One even had a boot as the crab shell.
Wait, was it a boot or was it a C-3PO leg? I thought I saw a C-3PO.
Oh, it was some kind of bootleg something. Yeah, it was amazing. I loved it.
Because there were definitely recognizable droid parts and random things in there, which I thought was
definitely in a crab cult.
Yes.
Follow. Very freaky.
I also I mean, when I would watch it the first time, I couldn't stop thinking. In my head, I was singing "Shiny."
Yeah, it was like Tomatos.
Especially when the big mama crab popped out of the perfect.
Just wanted to hear the Bowie crab voice.
It's a Moana reference for anybody who has no idea what we're talking about.
Okay.
What's Moana?
Okay, so so of course John gets taken into custody by the pirates. Brutus imprisons him, and they have their little trial of his betrayal.
Don't forget, he's 33, come help me, and they immediately blast him with an ion blaster, right? To disable 33. The trust is he's coming out of the hole,
yeah.
I was, and the way they do it kind of with a good comic timing too. So you kind of just expect him to, in full Jack Sparrow's, just go parlay.
Yeah, they did a good job with the pirate tropes this episode, I think. I mean, I enjoyed it. Anyway.
Oh, the soundtrack too. It was the perfect sci-fi pirate mixture. It was just so brilliantly done.
That we should shout out. I believe, Rodney, maybe if you can check me on this. The music for the series is composed, I believe, by the son of Giacchino. Is that right? Anyone?
Mm-hmm. I'll look it up.
Look it up. Check that. I'm 70%.
It is Mick Giacchino.
Mick Giacchino, his son. It runs in the family.
It's kind of like
Star Wars meets sea shanties.
It's like the Kiner brothers are their dad. Kiner does also the Star Wars music too. So, but that I did not know that. That's really cool.
Yeah.
So
that, since we're talking about the creatives, we should also call out, this is the episode that we are always looking forward to in all of these shows. The episode that is directed by the one, the only Ms. Howard, daughter of Opie himself.
Her episodes are always so good. Bryce Dallas Howard. Her episodes are always like a shining light, no matter how good the series as a whole is. Her
stuff always stands out.
Well, and she really understands. She works with actors really well. She always
that's her camera. She understands that.
And that green screen acting, how do you motivate that? She's very clear in her head of where things are in physical space when you have to pretend it's there. And that touch. Also, you have some really cool character arcs. So this was an important episode for me because at this point, the first time I was watching this, I was loving all the character moments and the character development of all the kids. But I was like, KB is kind of falling flat for me. Nothing was happening for KB. KB was just kind of a Deus Machina who would just fix things because she's part robot. But we get a great little moment where we, for the first time, split up the kids in a different way, and you have Fern climbing up the mountain with poor little Neil, who's literally falling.
Legs aren't long enough.
His legs aren't long enough for the rungs. But also is like, it's not that he wants to follow her, he's just doesn't want people to go alone, which is, Neil. We love Neil.
Yeah. Neil's the dude.
The heart of the bunch.
He's the Mikey.
And then, of course, we have Wim, who has one of my favorite lines in the series, where he's like, I'm going to just like paraphrase it, but when he just declares like, why am I so bad at knowing who's the good guy?
Yeah.
Oh, you sweet summer child, you have been so sheltered.
It's like, first day on the internet, I mean.
This was like the KB episode, though.
Yeah.
It really
It
shine.
She has such a lovely moment, kind of setting up Wim too, right? So we established that, well, one, KB for the first time basically just says no to Fern and is pissed at Fern for kind of her headstrongness. And
she stands up for herself for the first time.
She stands up for herself, and it turns out it's like she knows that her augments have taken some damage, and she is not confident in her own ability to, push herself.
Climb a cliff.
And of course that comes ahead when her augs fail, and she has to talk Wim through making a fuse.
The blind leading the blind, really, literally. In one sense.
Is, impressive, and, like, you literally just made a mold in sand, and it works fine inside your head. Wow.
But we also find out that she's a cyborg because she was in an accident.
Yeah.
Which is for kids who have any kind of ability challenges, right? Like, representation really does matter,
It does.
Yeah, I mean, a character that has been resilient and adapted, and they're not necessarily 100% sunshine and roses about it, but they've adapted, and they're not, embarrassed of it, and that they can advocate for themselves. That's another huge one.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, both on the physical, ability or differently abled side of things, but also on the neurodivergent side of things, right? Because then suddenly I was framing kind of her performance and behavior in the previous episodes as maybe a little spectrum-y, and how she was a little more emotionless and a little bit just more reactive, and it's like, oh, okay, so that's just like, yeah, I was very charmed by.
Well, she was kind of the tech from Bad Batch of the show, right? Like, she could pretty much do anything with computers and fix anything, but he wasn't really, and like, it seemed like she had no weaknesses whatsoever. And when she hits her limit, it's like, okay, like, she's a human being with thoughts and feelings, and she's not like this, like, and I think that's where Fern misjudges her. Like, Fern thinks that she can do anything that she can do, and this is the first time that she's saying, I can't do everything that you can do, and you have to I'm worried that I won't have any friends if you reject me, so I always follow you, but I need you to accept me for who I am.
Which brings us to the title of this episode, which, yeah, again, like, hit me like once it was spoken of, that she has this deep insecurity that if she doesn't kind of push herself or live up to these expectations, that she will have zero friends again. And yeah, that hit me like a ton of bricks. I was like, oh gosh.
Well, any kid that's like,
Lisa from Encanto of her.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, like, if you're a tomboy, nerdy, obsessive compulsive, like, I mean, I was all those things. I was a tomboy, nerdy, obsessive compulsive kid that was very, very, like, was not good at making friends, right? And so the people who accepted me for who I was, they're still my friends today.
Yeah.
30, 40, 30 years later.
Yeah, my two closest friends from childhood I'm still in touch with. I'm still in touch with them.
Important.
And so with that, then you get
too.
this lovely interaction between her and Wim, and Wim's like, well, then you can just be friends with me and Neil. And that little bit of, encouragement, it's so sweet. And you see her
Obvious.
Kate.
Seems obvious to him. Well, of course we'd be your friends. And
Yeah.
I think she needed to hear, I don't think she knew she needed to hear, but she needed to hear, well, obviously somebody else besides Fern wants to be your friend. You're likable.
Yeah. Which then brings us to once, they successfully build this fuse and plant it in her head, she has a shutdown and reboot, and she gets up and she's all energized again. And this is honestly, like, I think one of the brilliant things in the whole series is that she basically spells it out for Wim of sometimes being a hero isn't being the Jedi that jumps into action and picks up the lightsaber and whatever. Sometimes being the hero is just sitting down, being calm, and taking directions, and helping someone. And she says, "Thanks, Jedi." And it's like, it's such a great just character moment.
She even says, like, again paraphrasing it too. She even says, "Oh, it's not this crazy. You just saved somebody's life, but it wasn't this extravagant thing. Like, it was just,
it was
exactly,
anticlimactic, but it meant everything.
But you saved, she's like, you saved my life." And yeah, it was so. Rewatching it today, it got me in the feels, man. It got me in the feels. It really did.
Master scene study on every level, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah, in a way, maybe in part because they're kids, but maybe a more effective or to the point version of essentially a lot of the plot points of The Last Jedi, which I know I'm getting controversial, but I mean, that was really the heart of this episode, is the heart of what The Last Jedi was about too, right? I mean, that it's not always thrilling heroics. Sometimes it's being a good friend. Sometimes it's
and then they took a page out of Neil's book, and her and Fern, as soon as they were safe, right, the first thing they did was say, "You're my friend. Like, you're my best friend. Like, I'm here for you," right?
And the apology, and he goes, "Yeah, I know. I realized it after the fact." Well, of course, and she has her Fern, of course, faces that issue as she's pushing Neil to do things that he cannot do physically, and
because she has her own insecurities, they just manifest differently.
Right. But yeah, it was a great contrast. It was great to see the switcheroo of the characters, and how they interact in different combinations.
Neil is the only one who's comfortable in himself and his insecurities, right? He's the only one who's like, "This is who I am, damn it."
It's like, you know what? I'm afraid of that. That's not a good idea. We're not doing that.
I can't do this, but I can do that. You just say you're sorry, damn it.
I think that's the, like, besides him being like an adorable little dude, I think that's kind of the heart of all the Neil love, is that he shows up genuine and vulnerable in a way that most people are not able to.
Yeah. He's like, "Why are you fighting? Just say you're sorry." Whether it's a war or a fight between two best friends, just say you're sorry.
Say you're sorry. Just step back and say you're sorry. Stop hurting each other.
So so we have this, right? This is like really the real meat of this episode is all of these little emotional and character moments between these characters. And that would really be enough to carry the whole episode, except we have these great freaking action beats, right? Where the kids have to jump off the ladder to like onto the ship as it's getting carried away.
Ship Falcor style.
Yeah. They hijack the ship and are able to take control. It crashes. They find each other again, and then they end up one, of course, the confrontation of Tamatoa, space Tamatoa, and scaring that away, and then the ship crashes into, basically you have a Toy Story 3 moment with the kids in the ship getting eaten by a big grinder.
Yeah.
Which is great, both to see the kids jumping into action. They all know their roles. They all know they're part of the ship. They jump in, and then, of course, the moment of truth is, do you push the shiny button, right? And, okay, what do you think? I was kind of bummed that it wasn't Wim pushing the button, but I don't know. I guess it makes sense for Fern to be making the...
Well, wasn't he in the gunner?
He was in the gunner. Oh, God, and he has one of my favorite lines in the whole series of, "It's too invincible!"
Yeah.
It's just like perfect, just like kid overstatement.
It was very Goonie flavored in the best way. I really like that one. It's too invincible. Yeah.
I feel like in a way it had to be Fern who pushed the button.
Yeah.
Like she's the one who, yeah, exactly. Like Captain goes down with the ship. Captain makes the hard decisions. This was a hard decision.
Actually, then that is a good resolution to the conflict 2 episodes ago when she has her moment of like, self-doubt and, taking on the responsibility of making decisions for her crew, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't think of that. That's a good one.
Good bookend as the season starts to draw to a close.
But of course, it's a great little Deus Machina as she pushes the button, and of course we discover, wow, they have a shiny new ship.
Well, they have a ship. They have a ship that was covered in pirate armor barnacle.
Right.
Which is great if you need to get yourself out of a tight situation. Like say that the Republic has you in a tractor beam, right? And you have to get out of it. I can see how that would be a great last resort, right?
I mean, presumably it was all armor too, so it was also, absorbing, damage sponge, while the
It's like Firefly, we cover it in stuff that looks mean and gross and Ravengers and
right. But yeah, so great little setup. Now they got a sleek, fancy looking ship. KB still remembers the coordinates to Atten, and the kids are off to try to beat the pirates as the pirates are threatening Jod, and we get to watch Jod kind of manipulate the pirate crew and kind of set himself up against Brutus.
And he's got a cougar who is really on his side, and has a...
Oh yeah.
Well, and a few folks. I mean, you can see him kind of turning folks. We also get to hear their whole mythology about, as he talks more about Captain Reynard, right? And how everyone knows the story, everyone knows the song about him. And the mythology.
I think that's in the next episode.
Is that in the next episode?
I think so.
That's usually my job to spill over.
Okay. He just almost gets spaced a few times, right?
Yeah, they almost airlock him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The sci-fi equivalent of walking the plank.
Indeed. All right, but I think that brings us to the end of this episode. This might have been my favorite episode in the show. But still more very fun stuff to come. So thank you for joining us here on the Geekish Network. Please follow Geekish Network on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, and subscribe to the channel. We will be releasing this more. We'll check back every Monday. We're here. We're doing stuff. And of course, Andor's coming up soon. Thanks on Flight Deck to Rodney, and we are the Pod Squadron. Please check out all of our content on podsquadron.com. Like and subscribe. Follow us on Blue Sky, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. For podcast subscriptions, you can subscribe to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or your favorite podcast app. I am the Chinese Pirate at Chinese Pirate _ on all platforms.
I am Tracy, the hot nerd girl on all the things. Or if you're really into being jealous that somebody has chickens and lots of eggs, you can lip all a little groundhog garden on Instagram.
And I'm Lexi. I'm the feral geek on some things. You get to find out. It's a little treasure hunt.
Oh, mysterious.
And all wings return to base. Course laid in and prepared to make the jump to light speed on my mark. And remember, the truths we cling to depend on our own point of view. Only the Sith deal in absolutes. Good night.
Woohoo! I have to pee.
Yay.
Again.
As is tradition.
And I'm like overheating. I need to take my shirt off. So